Happy to be joined this morning with Mike Bauer, General Manager of Roger Dean Stadium. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for having me.
So, honestly, I think Roger Dean Stadium is one of the hidden gems in all of Palm Beach County. It's incredible. I've never gone there and had a bad time. And usually, when people go with me that haven't been, they make the comment of just the same, right? Oh, I can't believe I haven't been here before. So, before we dig into all of that, Mike, I mean, for people that know the stadium but don't know you, talk about yourself a little bit and introduce what your role as general manager, does on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so I grew up in Port St. Lucie, Florida. So I remember coming to spring training games here when I was a kid. My dad used to break me out of school, and I knew when I heard that voice, Mrs. So and so send Michael Bauer to the front office. I knew in March where we were going. So this is one of the parks that I remember. I also, went to Vero Beach, Port St. Lucie, and of course, I even remember going to the old stadium on Palm Beach Lakes to see the Braves and Expos back in those days. But Roger Dean is special. It's one of a very small list of two-team facilities. I've got two great clubs that play here and make Palm Beach County their home away from home, and my job is to be their local person, right? Like I am everything here at Roger Dean. I feel like oversee all facets, which is not only the building operations and the grounds and everything that has to do with the facility, but also our sales force and our marketing plans and all the fun things and the promos that we do here during our games. I oversee all of it and report back to my bosses at the Marlins and Cardinals.
Okay, so yeah, talk about that a little bit, Mike. So in terms of the Cardinals and the Marlins, what is the connection there? Because you're running the stadium, but what is the like? Let's say there's a guy playing on one of the clubs and he gets called up to a higher level. Are you getting that call, or what does that look like?
No, so the two clubs got together and they formed a joint venture called Jupiter Stadium Limited. So I am the general manager of that partnership. And myself and my staff were about 45 full-time, 200, seasonal part-time. It's, our job to be the boots on the ground for the clubs when they're not here. During spring training, which is February and March, both clubs are here, their baseball operations, their leadership, they're here as a group. The rest of the year, when we play minor league baseball, it's a smaller group of people, and they rely on myself and my team to help them run their games. When I say general manager, I'm general manager of the facility, the 110-acre complex, and the baseball operations departments for each of the clubs. They will handle all player moves and all player needs.
Okay, understood. Take me through a game day. So, what goes through your head from first pitch to final out? I mean, I'm sure your day starts way before the first pitch, but what does that typical day look like at the stadium for you?
Well, for me, it's let's say it's a 1 o'clock spring training game. For me, I get here about 8:30 on a spring training game day, and the first thing I do is I walk the facility. Right, I want to make sure that it's clean. I want to make sure that it's safe. It's inviting, that we're ready for our guests. Um, the next thing I do is I kind of follow the path of our guests, right? So it starts in the parking lot. So as we start receiving fans, I'll go out to the parking lots to make sure that our staff is in place and that our managers overseeing that area have a handle on things, and that the ingress is smooth, that our drive patterns are strong. Then, the next step may be look at the ticket office. Do we have lines at the ticket office? Are we keeping up with, our walk up? Then it's, the gates. How do the security checkpoints look? Are we allowing fans in to get in quickly but also safely? And it kind of, you follow the flow, right? Until they get inside. Then there's concessions, there's the team store and merchandising. And then, ultimately we want to get them in their seats. Once we get them in their seats, things set the level set a little bit, and We can get the game rolling, and then it's, monitoring all my different departments to make sure that we're providing the best guest experience that we can. We want folks to feel safe when they're here, and we have a benefit of being in the middle of the Abacoa community. It's all my kid. It's almost like Leave It to Beaverland around us, right? You've got beautiful homes and white picket fences, and you've got a nice town center across the street where they can come before or stay after to maybe get a bite to eat and shop. It really is a great experience here at our ballpark. And my job from soup to nuts is to make sure that while they're here, they have a great experience.
How do you collaborate, Mike, in terms of being in that Abacoa community? I mean, I'm guessing you've got a lot of businesses right outside your front gate. You walk across, there's restaurants, there's bars, there's everything from karate studios to, frozen Bahama Bucks, right? Shout out to Bahama Bucks. My kids love it there. But, what type of collaborations do you do there? And maybe if you could talk about, I know the promo nights that you do are pretty cool, right? Like my kids love the nights where you run the bases and fireworks are big. But could you talk about that collaboration and some of the exciting things that you guys have coming up at the stadium?
Yeah, one of the things that I think we can hang our hat on, Chris, is that if you were to speak to others in the community, they would say that the folks at Roger Dean are very collaborative. They're good people. They deliver on what they say they're going to do. That we're good community stewards. We do try to build partnerships throughout the community, and you'll see them, throughout our ballpark on signs and sponsoring promotions and getting involved at the stadium, and that's a key piece of who we are. We are a fabric of North Palm Beach County and Palm Beach County in general. I do think that baseball and our facility is a big quality of life enhancement, but we have to work on that. That is not something that you just get a badge for opening up your doors. You've got to work on that every single day, and that's whether you're working with not for profits, whether you're working with your partners, whether you're just attending an event to be a part of it. It could be cash dollars, it can be sweat equity, but we want to be involved. We want to be ingrained in the community, so we work at that every day. And it's not only myself, it's everybody on my team. We want to be involved and helping, and ultimately, it's a two-way street, right? If we're there to help, they're going to come see our ball games, and we invite everybody to come see our ball games. Baseball is for everybody.
Right. And in terms of some of the promotions, looking at, like I said, the kids run the bases. I mean, I get a kick out of watching the kids at your games because I'll take my 2 kids sometimes and foul balls are everywhere, right? Like you just absolutely they go nuts. And I feel for the ushers around the stadium because the kids are running a mile a minute. They're like, guys, slow down. But the kids, like my kids, say, "Oh, I absolutely love going there. Can we go to a game?" Right? So, what other promotions are you guys planning to run throughout the summer that people might find interesting?
Yeah, we just had our Star Wars night this past Saturday where we had Star Wars characters that, look like they've walked off the movie set that were here from the 501st Everglade Squad. Longtime partners have volunteered their time to come for a long time. And just like us, they're in the communities everywhere. Our next big one is a baseball, we call it Baseball and Brews. It's our craft beer tasting during a baseball game. Another big one we have coming up is our Mega Bash, which is our July 3rd and 4th promotion. We have fireworks each night, a big, mega kids area where we have a bunch of inflatables that we bring in. Of course, we have face painters and balloon shapers and guys walking around on stilts and all kinds of fun things. And this year, especially as we celebrate, America 250, it's going to be a little bit bigger. And on those 2 days, we also partner with our friends around in Abacoa. While our games are going on, Abacoa Town Center is going to have a big block party. They're going to have some cover bands. So, that's a great way to hang out with us. Some other things that we're doing throughout the summer, we've got Dino Night coming up, where we've got some dinosaurs that look like they walked off the movie set from Jurassic Park, and we can learn all about them and engage with them. our Thirsty Thursdays, dollar beer nights for, the younger audience and those that like beers. Um, of course, on Saturdays, you mentioned the kids. That's when we have our kids club. Super affordable. You get in, you get a ticket, a hot dog, and a soda for every Saturday game. I'm testing my memory here, but I think it's only $40 for that package. So that, that's just a sampling of some of the things that we do. But we're all about reaching different target segments in the community and inviting them to a game so they can come celebrate and enjoy the game of baseball together.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, there really truly is. It's our default, right? Like if we're like, oh, what do we got to do tonight? Oh, let's go over to the game, right? And you're right. There's always something else going on that was different than the last time that you went. In terms of, obviously you grew up here, right? So you've seen the demographics change in terms of the makeup of the community. There are a lot more people here now. How has that affected basically people that come to Roger Dean? Are you seeing I mean, spring training is one thing, right? I mean, you have people coming in that are Cardinals fans from the Missouri area. You have Marlins people coming up. You have the people of the visiting teams that come to visit. But what about the makeup of Palm Beach Gardens, Jupiter now? Are you getting a lot of repeat business of people coming back to the stadium routinely for these games?
Well, that's the goal. Bringing in a new person is much more challenging than getting a repeat customer. So we're always working to, figure out, when somebody's here, how can we engage with them? How can we get them to come back and see one or two more games in the season? I've certainly noticed, the growth of Northern Palm Beach County just in the 16 years that I've been in this position. Try getting down Indian Town Road from the beach to I-95. It takes you almost 20 minutes now. Um, and you would think it would get a little bit easier because you've got more businesses, more people. But we're working just as hard to get those folks to come to games. In our environment today, there's so many more things that families have as options, that they can do. When I was a kid, you were limited, right? You had mini golf, you had the movies, you had minor league baseball, you could go for a hike, you could play at the park. Now there's just so many more things with different sports like, just soccer's huge now and lacrosse is huge in our community. And of course, video gaming is now huge. And, all the new technologies that are available to families and all the different options, right? So, sometimes we feel like, and we say this lovingly that we have to kick and scream sometimes to remind people that we're here, but we work really hard at it. We've got a great marketing team led by Abby Schultz on my staff who does a great job of telling everybody of all the fun things that we've got to do, and that hasn't changed. Even though we have more people, we're working just as hard.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think baseball, you're in a unique position because I sit in the middle, I guess, as a middle-aged guy. But growing up as a kid, baseball was everything, right? And now to kids, everybody has such a short attention span. Not even kids, but adults too, right? So you go to a baseball game, and as much as my kids love to go, by the sixth inning or so, they look at me and they're like, "Oh, are we staying the whole time?" Right? Because they like to see all the different events that you have going on in the field. And, you have people running the bases and there's all these games within the game that are going on. But it's a challenge, I would imagine, right? I mean, baseball is baseball. People's attention span is limited. They all carry something in their pocket. In a phone that immediately if their attention span is lost they're looking down at that, right? So I think I hear you, but I think you guys do a great job trying to get people excited in the ballpark. And I think it's very compelling that you say from the time they enter the gate until they get to their seat and everything in between, right? It's all an experience that has to be cultivated, or else you're going to lose those people, right? So, very very interesting. Mike, take me through. I'm sure running a stadium like this. Take me through a story that kind of wows you to this day that you're like, wow, I can't believe I was here to see this or meet this person or an event that happened there. What's something that really, showed up? I mean, you're in a unique spot in that your position probably takes you in front of a lot of people that people don't normally get to see or different situations. What is something that really resonates with you over your career there?
Well, I think that, the day that I leave here, the one thing that's gonna stand out to me is the people. Whether it's my staff or our fans, it's a really good feeling, Chris, to walk the ballpark just on a random spring training day and to know everybody you're working with, but to know so many of the fans. Like I can't go from home plate to third base without running into three people I know, during our games because of my longevity here. And that gives me a good feeling. But one of the fun things that I remember that will be a highlight for me. And I went to the University of Florida, and so I'm a big Gator fan and Gator myself. And um, about 10 years ago, if you remember, Tim Tebow decided he wanted to try to play baseball again. And so he was with the St. Lucie Mets, and he came in for a 3-game series. And it's interesting, but my minor league games, we average about 800 per game. We have two teams here, so we play 162 games, which is a lot of games. We have a lot of supply. So our average is thinned out a little bit due to that. But when Tebow came in, we had 3 games in a row of like 3,500, 4,000 people to see him, take a couple hacks and play a few innings of minor league baseball. And that was really fun for me. That's definitely one that stood out in my mind. I actually got a chance to meet him, get a picture with him, and talk to him about what it's like to hit a baseball. And for me that was a fun one. There's so many like that. Though we always kid that we could write a book and all the weird and nuanced things that happen in baseball, but we've also had so many of our own players. The cool thing about managing minor league baseball, and we're Class A. So if you have the realm of baseball, your big leagues, Triple A, Double A, High A, Low A, and Complex. We have the two bottom rungs here. The Low A is our Jupiter Hammerheads and Palm Beach Cardinals, which play at night in our stadium. But we also have the Florida Complex League, which is the entry level to the minor leagues. So right after the draft, many high school and college players come to us first at this level before they start ramping their way up. But what's really kind of cool is to see a player like a JJ Weatherhort, for example. We had him here in Palm Beach 2 years ago. Now he's playing leadoff for the St. Louis Cardinals in his rookie season, and he's crushing the ball. He's having so much success. And we can think back and say, wow, we had that kid 2 years ago here in Palm Beach, and we were helping him set up his family hotel rooms. And he didn't know his way around. He didn't, how do I get to this restaurant? And just, engaging with those guys and helping them when they're young and seeing them blossom. It's really pretty cool.
And it seems so many of the guys, whether they start here as minor leaguers or they're here during spring training, set Jupiter, Palm Beach Gardens, the whole area as their home base, right? I mean, we have so many major league players here. And a few that I've talked to have said, yeah, it all started for me, at Roger Dean or at one of the other complexes in the area. And it really sets a foundational home base. And, I think you mentioned before the sports programs that we have all over the county. I mean, baseball, lacrosse, soccer. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find better programs. So it's really cool to hear a story like that and know that those guys have assimilated their ways or themselves into the area. Mike, walk me through a little bit about the stadium in terms of the future of it. I know there's been a lot of work going on over there. What does the stadium look like over the next few years? What are the things that you guys have planned there?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We are kind of in the middle of a 3-year renovation process. We just finished year two, which was the bulk of it. But year one, we redid our field playing surface. We took 17 inches of dirt out, redid the irrigation, redid the drainage. Came back, put a new playing surface in, new clay, new outfield. We also relocated our bullpens, which used to be down the foul lines on the field to the power alleys behind the outfield wall. The last thing we did was a new outfield wall and a retaining wall in left field. That was kind of 2 years ago. This past year, we did a bunch of stuff. We removed the bleachers that were in left field where that retaining wall was. I'll start there and put in a new 2-tiered group and social space. The top we call the Champions Club, the bottom we call the Hot Corner. And they're both unique spaces now where you can come as groups, have some fun. It's sponsored by our friends from Jupiter Medical Center. We also added a new team store down the first base concourse, 3,000 square feet. It's going to give you plenty of room for shopping, a nice shopping experience, new items. Um, our old team store was 900 square feet, so it was a bit of a gift shop. Now we're a retail outlet. Um, the press level was redone. You know, all the spaces where our beat writers and TV, radio work, that was redone. We're just about to open a new grab and go concession stand behind home plate. That's going to help us with speed of service. You know, so some of those folks that just want to grab a quick drink in a bag of, you know, Cracker Jacks, they can get in there and do it fast now instead of, you know, waiting in the old belly up style, you know, concession stands that we have here. Both of our clubhouses have been gutted, redone on the inside, reimagined in some areas. And then we also extended off the back of each of them with 20,000 square feet. So now we have a new state of the art location for locker rooms, training space, hydrotherapy, workout facilities, um, you name it. Because we are, you know, after spring training, we are the 365-day rehab center for both of our clubs. You know, player gets injured, you know, oftentimes they send him here to Jupiter to rehab, and then they would likely, you know, maybe play a game or two at Jupiter or Palm Beach to get ready to go back to the big leagues and play for St. Louis or Miami. So uh, year three of our renovation coming up is going to be smaller stuff in scale, but you know, all of our fences in the backfields, a lot of landscaping and hardscapes that surround the fields and the stadium. Um, you know, and then we've got a little bit of money left over that we're trying to figure out with our partners at Palm Beach County how we're going to spend those dollars on the exterior of the fields, but also what we're going to do over the next 5 years from a renewal replacement standpoint. I should mention that we are a Palm Beach County facility. We are owned by Palm Beach County and the teams and the joint venture. We lease that from Palm Beach County. But we also have skin in the game. We're responsible for maintaining and operating the stadium to keep it beautiful from a day to day standpoint. But we work with our partners at Palm Beach County on anything that would be renewal replacement or you know, new items that we would, you know, add or upgrades we would add to the stadium, and they've been fantastic. You know, both the town of Jupiter and our partners at Palm Beach County have been fantastic through this whole renovation. But you know, our goal, like I kind of said earlier, is to make Roger Dean your community ballpark, whether that's big league baseball and spring training, minor league baseball, you know, the numerous, you know, regional and national tournaments that we bring in, whether it's high school level, men's leagues, etc. Whether that's a 5K race, we want to be your community ballpark, and we're available to everybody in Palm Beach County.
Well, Mike, I think you guys do a great job. I mean, the ballpark looks amazing. It's the best I've ever seen it look in the time I've been here. And I think you're going a long way towards achieving that goal. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the interview, you know, people really enjoy going there and they like to go back. It's in a great location. And I think people feel good. Everybody from when you walk in that go take you through security, the concessions, the people, the ushers, everybody makes you feel at home, and it just feels like a day gone by type event that you can go in and have a good family friendly experience. I This part of the show, we do this with everybody. I think it's kind of fun. We talk about your personal favorite things, right? So I ask everybody this same question: what's your favorite go-to restaurant in Palm Beach County?
You know, I think that's changed over the years, but right now I love Stage Kitchen on PGA Boulevard. Have you ever been there?
Sure.
That place is excellent. I also love Culinary Cafe, and I like the leftovers and what's their sister restaurant? Food Shack. I think those are my wife and I probably seem like our car automatically goes to one of those, you know, places here in Jupiter. But you know, you've also got, you know, all the restaurants over there by the lighthouse. I mean, what a gem that we have with the intercoastal over there and the lighthouse. It is beautiful. And anytime we have people come into town, it seems to be where we take them over there.
Yeah, we are definitely spoiled here. I mean, the restaurants you named are amazing, and honestly, I say this every time. You could do a whole show just on restaurants here. I mean, if
You
anybody
certainly
tells you
could.
you can't find something you like, they're lying to you. How about your favorite small business or service provider in the area? What's somebody you'd like to give a shout out to?
I'm going to give a shout out to Signarama West Palm Beach. They're one of our partners, and they do all of our signs here in the building. And they're a small business run by Lino DeFeo and Mike DeFeo. It's a family business. We've been working with them as long as I've been here and longer. I guess I should know how long, but they pretty much drop everything for us during spring training when we're ramping up for the season to make sure that we have success. And you don't see that level of service anymore. It seems like everybody's so busy that, you've got so many clients that sometimes you seem like you're part of the herd, but those guys do a great job for us. And yeah, Lino and Mike are amazing.
That's cool. Yeah, I know Mike. So yeah, good group of guys. All around, I'll ask you a bonus question here too. Best food at the ballpark.
We have we have a few things that I like, but my favorite are the mahi tacos that we do. Uh, Actually, the cart when you go outside my office right here, the cart's right across the hall. So you'll see me in the middle of the game sneak over there, grab a couple for lunch. They're amazing. I love them.
All right, good to know. Mike, if people want to follow you, reach out to you for any reason, or just follow the team, what's the best way to do that?
What that's one of the funniest things because we have so many handles on social media. Roger Dean's got a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter account. The Jupiter Hammerheads have all three. Palm Beach Cardinals have all three. We have the main website, which is rogerdeanchevroletstadium.com. That's probably the first place that I'd go is the website, but we have so many social media handles. And through all of those, you can get to us, learn about our teams, get tickets, and of course, get your Palm Beach Frozen Iguanas gear, which is hot right now. I don't know if you know about this, Chris, but we launched a alternate identity for our Palm Beach team. Every Saturday, we're the Frozen Iguanas, and ever since we did that, our retail for those is just flying off the shelf. We can't keep it in stock. The fans are loving it, um, and that's been a lot of fun this year. That's been one of our unique marketing campaigns that we did, and with all the cold snaps that we had over the winter and all the iguanas falling from the trees, it played right into our hands. Like it was perfect.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. I didn't know about that. So we'll go buy the frozen iguanas gear. That seems like a cool thing to have. Mike, it was a pleasure having you on board. Everybody go out and support both teams over at Roger Dean, and do our best to help in the community. Thanks again, Mike. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chris. Nice chatting with you. And let me know next time you're at the park. I'd love to show you some of the new things.
All right, thanks so much.